It's New York. Bad attempt at singing, by the way. But it's New York in 6 minutes. And no, got an alert on USD CAD. There's an opportunity for like live trading shit. Might be. Okay, but let me do a quick run through of Wagwan right now. So we have EuroJPY in this 4-hour POI on the M15, pretty bearish yesterday coming in. Asia session right here, and then we have a good formation of like some 15-minute bullish momentum. We went up once, came back in, broke out of that. Even though this is like internal of the internal, not the best in terms of structure, but you in some cases you would probably want to follow this. I did have a trade earlier in here and we did take a loss, but that's okay. We will do the review of that and post it after the end of day markers. Moving on to Euro USD, not too happy with the price action. It's still very range bound, still within like the bigger range. 15-minute still within a bigger range, so doesn't look as good for me. Still within this larger internal range, but we are seeing some bullish continuation from yesterday where it pushed up, pulled back. So maybe we do get another push up to target the internal high. Then GPUSD, we had a break of structure, and then we had the internal pullback in. We had an internal break of structure, and then we will be looking for a trade setup in here to follow the internal structure on GU. And then we have USD CAD, which also is pretty similar to EU. We are within a big range of the internal high and the internal low. Heavy momentum into this 15-minute POI, which probably is a sign that it won't hold just because of how heavy it's coming in. So in cases like these, you do want to wait for the confirmation entry on the M5 here, maybe something like that, depending on what kind of confirmation you get. But this is pretty heavy. I'd say same as GU, it's very bullish right now. So the question you would ask yourself is this enough to stop the momentum? But you wait for the entry pattern to form where you have this low, you want to see it come sweep this low, creating a strong high, and then a sweep of the strong high, wait for the confirmation candle, then only you want to sell. So then I would be looking for something like this. So all we do now is pretty much just wait for better confirmation. Same as GU, as I showed you now on USD CAD, you do have that formation with this low right from here. You have it going down, this inside bar going up, right? It goes down, which is here. You have a sweep of this high right there, and then now you have the strong liquidation into the POI. If ever you do get the entry model on the candle here closing above this one, for example, then it is the green light to take the buy. That's basically the entry model here is what you want to see, which is exactly this here is what you want to see. So for now, just keep an eye on it and see what happens. Okay, it's time for the EOD, right? end of day analysis. Started out on a 4 hour. 4 hour is still range bound in my opinion, right? Come deeper into this larger 1 hour, and then we started setting off. We did have a 4 hour change of character here. 4 hour change of character here, right? Earlier in the day we did have the expectation that maybe this inside bar will hold. Yeah, but as of now, 4 hours not looking great. Probably just stick to the M15 minute because it's got a little bit better price action. On the M15, we had a break of structure. Last week Friday, break of structure, and then we've been pulling back since. We have been pulling back since then into this 4 hour, which is already within the discount. We could pull back deeper into this 4 hour here before maybe we start seeing the bullish momentum come back. So for now, we'll probably follow the internal, but also to remember the deeper these internals go, the less likely sells are to happen, right? The probability of sells just dwindles down because you're already deep within the 15-minute pullback. It's always better to wait for the bullish plays, right? So at this point in time, this would be my internal structure. This would be my internal up to there. This would be my clear internal structure. So let's say we see it come back into here without creating a new internal high. If it doesn't create a new internal high before coming into here, I probably want to see this internal high break before I start looking for buys again, which then price will be in a much higher probable state for buys, right? So for now, probably tomorrow, which is Wednesday, maybe Thursday, we'll be sitting on our hands regarding Euro JPY. But you never know, tomorrow we could have momentum just come in and just take us higher. So maybe we look for price to come into here and then break this internal high, and then we look for the buy within whatever zone is left in here. That's like the prediction, right? But as always, prediction does not mean it's what will happen. We look at the structure, we follow the structure, simple as that. And then moving on to EURUSD, still not happy, honestly, with the way things are developing. We've been in this 4 hour range since last week Wednesday, right? Since last week Wednesday, we've been in this tight 4 hour range here. So the best thing to do is to wait for the M15 minute to at least break out of this range, right? This internal of the internal high, at least break out of that or break lower, and then we look to trade that. Because right now, just whatever side or whatever trade you want to take within here is between these 2 weak structures, right? And price doesn't seem to have a direction it wants to go in. You could use like GU as an indicator because it does kind of move the same, EU and GU, but also you don't want to do that because they're not the same pair, they do not move the same, right? They may correlate, but it doesn't mean like they would move the same. So I think EURUSD for now, we're just waiting for more. Really, there's nothing we can do. And then GU, which does look a lot better than EU right now. This is the one we'll be looking to follow. Was a sweep of liquidity right there. Sweep of 4-hour liquidity, which is good because if it sweeps the liquidity here, that can be the catalyst for a pullback right into this 4-hour zone here, which created a high, into this 4-hour zone here, which created a high, and the internal of the 4-hour broke out here. So in following, actually, I think it's time to move the swing, because how big of a swing structure really do you need? I think that this pullback is like a lot of candles, and I think I can classify this actually as a swing pullback and not just like an internal structure pullback. This actually is big enough for a swing pullback. This is the thing with like discretion, where you have to decide for yourself if this is big enough for a swing pullback. Looking at the last one was that big. This one is like half of this. But then again, it's a 4-hour range, right? Really, how much how much price action do you want to see before you declare this like not an internal but a swing pullback? So for me, actually, I'll change this to swing. What's important is just being on the right side of the market structure, right? Whether it's internal or it's swing, you keep your expectations grounded. You don't place sells up here hoping it's gonna come all the way down here, right? That's just stupid. I'm in and out within one candle. As you can see with the USD CAD trade, within less than 2 hours it was done. So I don't really need to worry about this much larger swing, right? I can just focus on what is immediate price action, which is from Monday the 21st of April, right? 8 days ago. I think this is good structure to focus on. I can just get rid of these and clean up just a tiny bit. Leave the daily swing low there. And yeah, I think already that's just a little bit cleaner. So this would be a high probability zone that created a swing high, right? And then on the M15 minute, obviously to facilitate this 4-hour 15-minute swing pullback as well, because on the 15-minute this is still valid 15-minute swing structure, because there hasn't been like a pullback in here and then a breakout there. I think this also would be enough for me to say it's a 15-minute pullback. I don't need to see like a swing as big as this one to classify it as a swing pullback. But for now we are following what is internal structure, and the internal structure right now is bearish. Internal structure is bearish. I think that's the highest probability for now. So if ever it does break this low, we just look for continuations into this 4-hour zone. So we'll just be looking for sells the entire time until the internal breaks high, and then you get the swing, which is bullish, aligning with the internal, which would be bullish, and then only we start looking for bullish plays. But for now, I don't mind following this internal structure lower into this 4-hour zone, for example, because it's also not necessary for it to come back into here. It could turn from here, it could turn anywhere in here. This 4-hour is just a guide of where it's more likely to turn than anywhere else, but it doesn't mean this is like 100% where it'll turn. So for now, we're just following the internal lower. Since it is a pullback, you do see it become more corrective, which means you could see something like this. very corrective structure until in there, and then you have your more aggressive with the swings are always more aggressive, as you can see, than the pullbacks slow. Okay, this one was not as aggressive, but at some point it did get aggressive and just push out, but generally the pullback is more corrective than the swing. So yeah, we're just gonna follow this, simple as that. USD CAD. Let's just get rid of this. I don't need that anymore. I will be posting the end of day before the trade recap for no specific. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll just, whatever I post first, I post first. But just in case you do see this one first, and I've deleted this, it will be explained in the trade recap. So USD CAD. I can get to this here. Diesel, thank you. USD CAD, we still play the pullback, right? Expectations is actually start on the 4 hour. The 4 hour at some point has to pull back. This for me was still internal structure, right? Internal high, and then the swing is all the way here. So yeah, we expect this to pull back at some point in time. We should have a pullback, but if ever we do only have the internal pullback into, for example, the extreme here, or this could also hold, right? This 4 hour that created a low, it could hold, and we just see it trickle on down. We could see this hold and then it trickle on down, but my longer term expectation is for the 4 hour to pull back into here. But before we see that, we do want to see this internal shift bullish, and then the market just follow this into this daily, where ultimately we do have a sell, right? That's the expectation. But for now, just focusing on this piece of market structure right here. It's also very rangy, right? From Monday, it hasn't had a lot of direction, which pullbacks do this, where they're not very good with direction. As you can see here, huge push down, pullback, huge push down, and then almost a rangy kind of pullback. So what's best is to follow the M15, and on the M15 we do have like this huge swing range here. This is the 4 hour swing range. Focusing on the M15 swing range, expectations are for this to continue higher into probably this 4 hour zone. So as of today, the internal of this structure did switch bullish, so I do want to see this high go right here. I want to see the high here go, right? I want to see the market break that, probably pull back in, and then come up here, something like this. So if ever we do get a break of this high, then I'll continue looking for buys. If we get a break of this low, I am going to assume the 15-minute swing pullback is done, and then I start looking for sells. And yes, that's pretty much it for the end of day. Yeah, thank you. And then we'll see you tomorrow morning for London. Peace.